I would like to welcome you guys to the first Kickbacks and Conversations here in Atlanta, Georgia. It has been a long time since I've had an event in Atlanta. Actually, 2017. 2017 was the last time I did something like this, and at the time, from then up until now, it's it's a whole different energy to do this. I have a respect for the craft of event curation and bringing people together, facilitating conversations, facilitating moments. So that's what we're doing tonight. Okay? So this is Kickbacks and Conversation. Basically, chill, get your vibe. Like, nothing is tight. You know, sit where you want, smoke, do what you need to do, so we can talk. Ready? So, as you guys already know, we started the conversation a little bit earlier, but there's a lot going on in the world right now,
Yes.
especially concerning the creative community and separately the creative community in Atlanta, because we are under a whole different pressure, a whole different set of circumstances than most of the country. So, between that, Atlanta, and I do want to touch on this recession thing. First things first, I'll open the floor with a question, and it's popcorn style. Feel free to hop in. If you can, get on the mic so the people can hear you and see you. And rules, just be respectful of the mic. Don't get up there and pontificate for 17 minutes. Other people need to talk.
You know we black.
I know how we get. I know how we get. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm gonna give you that face. Wrap it up. All right? Let's give everybody. Let's give everybody the space to talk. Let's be respectful of everybody's opinions. The whole point of this is so that we can meet people with differing opinions. Mm-hmm. Also, people that we can build community with. So, meet some new friends. That's the goal. That's the vibe. And let's get it started. What are unique issues that you guys feel currently are that our creative community is facing?
Creative community specifically?
Yep.
This goes for any medium.
Any medium.
Me personally, coming from where I'm from Dallas, Texas. Okay. So the art scene, the creative scene down there is very, like I was telling someone earlier, it's a very crab in the bucket mentality. Meaning like, I will support you, but not really. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like what you're doing, but I'm not going to support you enough to bring you to another level. So everyone's kind of like going against each other in the way of like being there for the creative communities. Like, yeah, we're going to be here, but we're not going to be here enough to see you rise. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of people in the creative community struggle with real support because they come from areas where that type of mentality is at. You know what I'm saying? So when I came down here to Atlanta and I received a whole different type of love from creatives, I really got to see the juxtaposition between like how we are down south in my city and how you guys are down south in your city. So I'm just like, yeah, it's a lot of competition, like low-key competition, and people are trying to find a way to push through that. And I think it's hard for creators right now, especially like you said, with us being in a recession and having to really buckle down on like who we are as creatives.
Do you think that's more of a personal thing, or do you think that pertains more to Houston itself? Like, do you think that you got with a different kind of people when you got here? Or do you think that they didn't have your kind of people at all back home? It was only crabs in the bucket type of people. So you think of crabs, you think, well, we all are considering ourselves crabs if we all in the same bucket.
Yeah, in the bucket. You
so, everybody pulling each other down. Are we all at the same level? Does this person have the, opportunity or experience to help you? Or are they all trying to get it at the same time?
To answer your question, yes. I think it is a personal thing because, like you said, in other spaces and other places, there's going to be different types of creatives. Right. So you are going to have those people when you come to different places. It's like, oh, we accept you, we're here for you. And then you have those others where it's like, we kind of just want to, we want our groups and we fuck with our groups and that's it. So I think between, like you said, Houston because Houston and Dallas, that's a big conversation that people like to have. You can even see the difference in their union and how they move as creatives. It's like, okay, Houston got their own vibe, and when you try and mix Dallas in there, it's kind of like it don't work. Even though we live in the same state, we're in the same city essentially, but it's like, you know, yeah. Yeah.
What I don't understand is like it's enough space for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like there is enough space for everybody to make it to the top as a collective.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I look at it. Because nobody can do art like you. Nobody can be you like you. And the people that's gonna rock with you gonna see that. But if they see the whole collective rocking together, and that's unbeatable.
Yeah.
Like that's power. Like you gotta understand, like art is power. Like that is a lot of fucking power. I'm sorry. A lot of power. Like
Speak freely.
hey. Like even down to fashion, like that's power in itself. Look at Vogue.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on now, Chanel. Like, why do people keep buying these things? Most of these people are the same person. Like, come on now. And most of these people are the same person, but yet we still think that each one, like, we still see the uniqueness in it. Exactly.
No,
It's room for everybody at the top. We just gotta look at it like that. Like, stop trying to take from each other and realize we all fight.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we all fight. And if the person that fuck with you gonna fuck with you, they gonna understand your art.
Yeah.
And if it's not for you, it's not gonna be for you.
Okay, so here's a question that tossed into that. A lot of people who seem to move that way are actually suffering from imposter syndrome.
Ooh,
100%.
I read up
How
on
do
that.
we deal with that?
That was gonna be my next point.
That
That
is a
everybody
good
is trying to be the
question.
same person.
What you
so
got?
it's coming from a music background, it's like individuality was something like that you took pride in. You know what I'm saying? Like back in the day, cats would literally fuck you up if you were jacking their style. Like now it's like we've gotten to this point where we'll take the great value version of this guy.
Yeah.
We'll go this and that. Because it's like I said, I was bending on this earlier, it's like a lot of people see this as hip hop isn't the same high hanging fruit as it once was. Like everything now has been fucking simplified, and even beyond music, it's like even in design. Like look at current homes that are being built. Like
Facts.
the shit looks so minimal now. Like,
Facts.
everything's getting simplified in every medium. So it's like, I guess the point I'm trying to make is, yeah, bro, like truly just being an individual. America breeds you to be an individual. Like if you want to win, be an individual. But as times progress, bro, everything just kind of looks the same, and everything is it's just the marketing. So you have to find that niche to like figure out what's next. Everybody's just trying to capitalize off what's popping right now.
Yeah.
Who's thinking about 10 years from
Yes.
now? Who's, you know what I'm saying? Where are those people at?
Nobody's thinking like that anymore,
So that brings us to legacy as an artist. When you look at what you're putting out into the world, are we thinking about our legacies and long-lasting creations? And also, are we thinking about the impact of our art? What is it that your art or your creative abilities, what are you using that to say?
I think
But,
go ahead.
I would say, but right now, is it about the impact or is it about building a following? Is it about the impact or is it about the power of the brand? That's a different conversation and a different direction to run it.
Yeah, I don't think that creativity was doesn't even hold the value it once did.
Mm-hmm.
It's a trend. Everybody is an artist. Everybody is a creative. Everybody's trying to make it to the top. And it's like, okay, I'm gonna pick up this tomorrow because this person did that and this looks simple.
Okay, I have a question. So do you think that's because we as black people, we ushered ourselves into an age of business owners, being black and owning a business, and you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like when 2020 hit, COVID hit, there was just a phase where like black people were like entrepreneurs. We gotta do this, you know, start your own business, and that's great. I love the direction we went in. However, like you said, now everybody's an artist. Now everybody's an entrepreneur. Now everyone can do this, and this. So it's kind of like watering down
Everybody's
the
been an artist for a while now. It seems like since you could buy Pro Tools and everything like that, once it became more of an in-house situation, then everybody can do it. Because all you gotta do is buy a computer. You got $1,000, and now you're a rapper. I feel like with our artistry, in a lot of ways, there are no gatekeepers anymore.
Yeah.
There is no there's no fundamental learning or anything to being an artist or being a business owner or anything. They just tell you go and get an LLC.
Yeah.
Right.
Go and get,
No training.
Go
No
get
training.
the equipment.
Your credit card fucked up
You-
now because
you
you
play
can't
any
pay
other-
the LLC back.
Listen.
They don't give you
play
no
any
lessons.
kind of music.
Yes.
You play an instrument or something. You gotta
Yes.
learn to play an instrument.
Yes.
You
Right. It
can't
takes
just jump
time,
on and
craft,
just play
like,
keys and be
facts.
like,
Yes.
I am now a
Yeah.
pianist. It's like
No.
nobody
No.
trying to hear that shit.
There's
No,
no
with music and
individuality
stuff.
anymore. Nobody
Okay,
knows who the fuck
so-
they are anymore.
so-
There's no
because-
purity to it.
There's no purity to
Because
it.
everything is so accessible now and everyone can beat pretty much everything, I feel like now we can say the standards have been watered down and lowered, but actually we could also say the standards have went up because now that everybody's an artist, you have to step. You gotta step hard. Like if you are art, if you like, oh yeah, I'm an artist. Okay, play the piano, play the drums,
Facts.
sing,
On site with it.
do something. Show me that you are hard at what you telling me you can do. Whether it be you make
Who's
soap.
asking for that though?
You-
Who's asking for that?
I mean,
Outside of the
True.
people that truly care about the craft, and that is the
I think
that is
because
That's the
The
business part
silent
of it, because you
majority.
can just find it anywhere,
you can
right?
right,
We just
you
talked
can
about
find
that.
it
That's the
anywhere.
crazy
So
part.
if you can't do it, you're gonna
it has to
find
be something
somebody.
outrageous.
Exactly.
We are in a
There's
social
no individuality
microwave.
anymore.
I have a
We are
question.
No
minority.
morals.
Do y'all feel like I wonder if do y'all feel like the age of the influencer has
Yes.
tainted
Absolutely.
Yes.
creative?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. It took
Because
their
what y'all
identities
talking
away.
about
It's
is
distracting.
It took
I'm gonna grab
their-
attention. Yeah.
It took their identities
To side
away.
note off what he was saying earlier, like Quincy Jones, musicians from that era, like they look at the times now and they're like, bro, you kids are, I wrote orchestra, symphonies, all
Facts,
this. It's like,
right.
y'all are
Facts.
truly,
I was
Facts.
like going back to the point I made earlier, everything I simplified, it's like now we're on the key,
Yeah.
we're on the hitting the
Mhm.
keys on the laptop, this and this and that.
Nobody
It's
actually
like
has the platform.
The channels are
for that, man.
democratized now. Like the power is in the creative. You
There
can
was
post to
this-
your own channel and it can catch fire and you're out of here. Like
Right.
there is no
Absolutely.
there is no label in today's times. Like
Yeah.
the internet is the label. The airwaves are
Facts.
free.
Mhm.
It's like who can
Facts.
flood the airways with the
Say
most
that
potent
again.
content.
Fuck
There
that
was this
airwaves.
interview that I watched with Nicki Minaj and Joe Budden, and she was saying these people, they hop on these trends instantly. Every time there's a new trend, you're hopping on it. Okay, you're hopping on these trends. She says you become faceless.
Mhm.
Like you, people will no longer know who you are because it's like
You're interchangeable.
you're interchangeable. You're doing everything to stay relevant. Whereas if you start like we were talking about Drake earlier.
Mhm.
I was just gonna cough it on the side and be like,
See,
and let's see what y'all did with that, but just go.
he totes a fine line because the way he came in the game was he came like this, you know?
Mhm.
And then over time, he slowly started to give us more
Who he
and different,
was, yeah.
you know? But there's a lot of people in the industry that like, they come in as this and then instantly it's like, oh, they're giving you something else. Then it's something else. New look, new music. And it's like, bro, what, are you a rapper, a singer,
You
a
can
dancer?
relate.
To sound out, my bad, I didn't mean to,
Go
like,
No,
ahead.
you
put
good.
this point on, but to sound out what you're saying about Drake, like you said, he came in the game like this, right? Musician, right? But
Right.
No, he came in the game as Jimmy, the actor.
No, facts.
He's the longest living
Exactly.
character.
Exactly.
He's the longest living character in all
Exactly.
sitcoms. Like he showed you he was an actor first,
Yo.
Yeah.
and then we're mad that
And
he's
he-
playing all these other
Yo.
parts. Like, bro, he showed you he's an
Oh.
actor. See what I'm saying?
Oh, yo, I got another one for you. What about Nicki? Remember her phases? Nicki Minaj.
But see, but that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. The way
She's an
you,
example of how quickly it shit changes
the
Right.
way
with the
you,
flow of the wind.
the way you incorporate yourself into a trend without, you know, succumbing to it, you have to take it slow. You have to give it to us in doses. If you
Mhm.
just OD on us, we not gonna wanna, you know, like it's confusing. But like you said, Jimmy came in as Drake as an actor. Then slowly he dropped a rap album. Then after that, slowly he started dropping dance hall music. And we like, wait a minute, this nigga's going, you know, I like him, but
It's like, yeah, I enjoy his music, but it's like I'm not gonna limit somebody to one dream. It's
right,
like, bro,
right,
that's
exactly.
not-
And I think that's what a lot of creatives do to themselves.
Yeah,
Is
double dutch.
Yeah.
Because I potentially want that.
right,
It's like,
they'll stick themselves in a box.
I be seeing you and then you be like,
Did I forget it?
well,
I forgot it. I don't know.
Okay, so when she remembers y'all, we just gotta let her hop in.
Yes, I definitely want to hear. I definitely want to hear from y'all.
So the thing is, I don't understand why now we are pushed to be business owners.
Facts.
Too many chiefs, not enough Indians. Everybody wants to be a business owner.
Mm.
And the reality is, why are we being pushed towards being business owners instead of being investors?
Facts.
And that don't just
It
mean
just
like,
got ugly
and
in
that
here.
don't mean just like cryptocurrency and all these other
Yeah.
things. There are different ways to invest
Yeah.
where your money's working for you, so you can do what you love.
Tell them again.
Why do we have to constantly keep preaching active income,
Yeah.
slavery income? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
how can I grind for this money?
Yeah.
How can I hustle instead of it passively working for me while I work on my craft? But now I just feel like everybody just wants to be a business. Everybody is a business. So you're talking about Chanel and all these brands that people are buying, but everybody's a business now.
Mhm.
I feel like one of the places where we fall short is that we don't team up.
Mhm.
Going back to the crabs in the bucket mentality, all of us are trying to do our own
Own
things.
thing.
Why can't we just come together? Okay, this is where I'm failing, or I can, you know what I mean? You
Yeah.
can fill in this gap. Let's team up. Where are the partnerships?
I feel like the temperature got cut up once COVID hit, and it was like the fucking lights got
That's
hit.
what I'm
Everybody
saying.
was like,
Yeah,
what do we
everybody
do?
was
And
in
then the lights cut back on, and it was like,
Shooting
oh, we
on
don't want to go to work. We ain't doing that. Like,
Yeah.
no, we already showed us too much now.
Nah,
Yeah.
Fuck
seriously.
it. Like, that's what I feel like.
So how do we do it? How do we move into working together? Because it sounds great, and it's something that we've been trying to do for years and years. How do we actually implement it on a ground level?
See, I love the
Yeah, like
idea.
this. Like,
I
yeah,
love
you
the
know,
idea.
with
But
this,
in all
this,
actuality, in all actuality, how many of us know how to be in relationship and collaboration?
I think
How
I
many of
think
us know
it's
how
I
to
think it's
do
more
that?
about like it's more about like an ego thing and taking accountability for who you are as a creative. Like yes,
Willing to accept their flaws.
exactly.
Willing
If you're
willing
willing to be
acknowledge
like
them.
if you're willing to be like I'm not the shit.
Yeah, right.
And
And that's okay.
Take a real nigga to say
But
it.
that's okay though.
It's okay. It's okay.
Today, I cannot be a shit.
Nobody's special. I realize in life that nobody's special. We all have problems. We all have shit that we go through on a daily basis. Just because you are here in life and I'm still here, or you know we here, doesn't mean that you're more special than me, or because you can do this, you're more special than me. No, we all have something to offer to the pot. So like you said, if we can find a creative way to solve this problem and come together, we wouldn't really be in a lot of situations that we're in as people. But because it's an ego-driven thing, especially being a creative, we see it. We see Kanye doing it. Kanye does whatever the fuck, his ego is there. It's clear as day. But he's willing to admit at the same time he's not shit. And he's willing to work with, like you said, younger people and bridge these gaps. We need more of those types of thinkers,
But
those
see,
free
like-
thinkers.
It just shouldn't take that for people to realize, like, oh, it's time to pass.
Yeah,
the
it's
ball.
time
I've been
to-
crossing y'all niggas up for season
Yeah.
after season.
Yeah.
I want to pass. It's
Right.
like, bro, why you got? I get it, strike iron while you're hot, but at the same
Yeah.
time, it should never be a self-driven.
But you gotta understand, like, this shit might sound batshit crazy, but it take love to do that. It take a
Yeah.
person to open up and actually show them what the fuck going on.
Mhm.
And you gotta be willing, like, if you gonna say that shit, you gotta talk and walk that shit. You gotta be that
Right.
shit. So it take everybody for them to be that shit and understand to become a collective. You gotta show them love. Like,
Yeah.
that's like real shit. The world is really fucked up right now.
We need
And we missing a lot of that. It's a whole lot of that not going on right now.
yeah. We
So
need
it's a
heavy,
whole lot of like it's a lot of shit going on. I feel like if we just take a breather, everybody just fucking breathe.
Yeah, we need a cultural reset for real,
Yeah.
like a real one, not through music,
What does that?
not through. We need a heavy
What
like.
does that?
Even-
Right.
It
A
could be the
collective vision.
it could be the small things. Just like the other day, we never met before. The small
Right.
shit. You want some wine? You feel me? That's love. Like you community.
Yeah.
This is what this shit is about.
Yeah.
So
You gotta be able to give that.
can we
How do we
take?
get
And that's just you. It's in everybody.
I'm
It's,
not-
all it takes is I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
All it takes is one person, like collective, came to you. Now we here. All it takes is one person. That shit passes off. It's like energy, bro. You pass your good energy off. You don't know that nigga might be having a fucked up day. Now he having a better day because you said his shoes fire. You feel me? All it takes is love, bro. We not having that. Nobody doing that anymore. Yeah, you can talk about business all day, but if it ain't no love in the business, ain't nobody making no money.
Yeah, you're not.
Boom. So you said love. You said love multiple times.
Yeah.
But that's the shit that people don't know. People don't know
Don't
what
know.
love is.
What
Yeah.
to do?
It's
Ooh,
always
we were
like
just
always
talking about that. We were
always
just
You
talking
gotta
about
be
that.
patient. You gotta be patient. You
Yeah.
gotta
It's
be
not like
patient.
that.
No.
No,
Love is
it's
just
not
patience.
because when you
It
talk
is.
about
It's not. But
when you talk about love, you have to include giving and
And
receiving.
receiving.
Some
Yeah.
people don't
Okay.
know how to receive
Girl, you
it.
better say
Okay.
something.
You know what I mean?
Respect
Some
it.
people expect that love
Respect.
is always something that feels good. Sometimes love is harsh.
Facts.
Sometimes love hurts. You know what I mean? And that's all a part of love.
Yeah.
But I could be a business partner with somebody telling some shit, some real shit, and because their ego was hurt, now they want to break up the thing. But it's like,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
coming from love.
Okay.
I'm coming from a place where I want us all to succeed. And sis, this flaw that you have is gonna fuck us up in the long run. We gotta work on this.
Yeah.
But you ain't never had something like that before. So you see me as a villain. You see me as
I see what
you know
you're
what I mean?
saying. Yeah.
As attacking you. But I'm really giving you love. But you don't recognize what love is.
Look, you
Right,
can't see
right.
it. You don't have a vision of
sometimes-
it.
that's
We
why I
don't. If we
said-
don't have a vision of something, we can't
okay.
chase it. I was listening to a book the other day about the difference between interest and curiosity. You can't be interested, truly curious about something, emotionally connected to it until you have an understanding, at least an inkling of what it is.
Yeah.
And if you don't have an inkling of love outside of what you see on TV, when you see it in person, you literally can barely take an actual curiosity to it where you can let go of your ego, because you have to let go of the ego for curiosity. You have to be open to something new.
And that's where I say that's where that patience come in. I know like patience is also harsh and all of that, but it's a real patience.
Yeah,
in
it is.
love.
I would-
Like you can take like, let's say crackhead on the street. He come home, he got home to go to. You know what I'm saying? He got a wife that love him. He come home every day. Why does she got that love? She got that patient love. It might sound stupid to everybody else, but they got their understanding. You know what I'm saying? Like you just
However-
gotta be patient.
How much
However, it takes
How much
time
understood?
for someone who doesn't.
I can understand that too.
We gotta.
It's just
To
you
take-
gotta be
go ahead,
willing
go
to take
ahead.
the risk.
For someone who's never experienced real love, and this is a lot of us who've never really experienced true, genuine, real love, even from family members, even if they've loved us through our childhood and we thought it was love, we've never really experienced true, real love. So it's like, yes, we need more love in order to build a better community to grow our businesses. However, how long is that gonna take? Because if someone hasn't experienced true love, say you get in a relationship with someone, I'm just using a relationship as an example, but you can encompass this in businesses and all that. You get in a relationship with somebody who's never been loved, maybe been homeless, has trauma in their life, and you're trying to work with them because you know you can see visually that if I can get you to a place of love, we can cohabitate peacefully and build upon what we're trying to do. But like you said, patience. How patient am I to wait, or how patient am I to teach you, to show you what real love is? And who's to say my version of real love is not your version of what real love is?
It's not like you have to say, it's not saying that like you have to stick around.
Yeah.
That's not saying like you can love somebody from a distance. Like truly, they may feel that shit in the long end. They might later on be like, damn, I really learned my lesson. But it still took that patience and that time for you to give them the opportunity to understand their flaws or whatever you wanted to see in them. Sometimes you can't reflect yourself in other people.
You can't.
Yeah, that shit might fuck you up, but at the end of the day, you had a whole open heart to that shit. You saw them for what they were, for the best of what they were, and for that time frame.
Yeah.
And so what? It didn't fucking work out. You feel me? But at the end of the day, you showed them love. It may not work out.
So
but
I'm gonna toss a word into the conversation, and y'all do what y'all will with it. Boundaries.
So
That was my
Mr. Mora.
I'm gonna just throw the name Harriet Tubman in there.
Okay.
I'm sorry. You can lead a horse to the water, but you can't make him drink. That's the reality. So if you're not already in that mindset, like there's literally nothing I can do. This time that we talking about, about giving you, I don't even know how much time I got on the
right. That's what I'm
That's why I
saying.
said you can walk away. You can damn sure walk away.
My whole thing is, it's super important to find somebody of like mind. You don't have, because some people really take into that and want to change people. I don't got the time.
Facts.
And what is that saying? They
ain't
said
no
that
cake.
iron. Okay, so iron sharpens iron, but iron damages wood, and wood dulls iron. Like you're not supposed to be. You're supposed to be with. You want to be with like-minded people. Like so, if I have a relationship with you and embark on a journey, and I find out that we are not of like minds,
Yeah.
split it.
Yeah, and I think that also it encompasses a lot of boundaries too, because I feel like this generation, we've released ourselves of boundaries. We don't have any boundaries. People will do anything for anything to anybody for anybody nowadays. But because we're trying to creep back into this expanded consciousness, we have to pretty much like reset what boundaries mean for us and people. Like,
I don't think we can really reset that. I think we could. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. It's funny that you say that. All of these comments have been have been sitting in me, and I think about the fact that self-love is the seed of true love.
mm-hmm.
You can't have true love if you don't have self-love, and self-love comes with boundaries.
Ooh.
So if we don't have no boundaries as a culture,
Right.
and we're always chasing the next trend,
Right.
the next thing to do, how can we truly show up in loving ourselves enough to love somebody in tandem, in independence,
Mhm.
to say and look and see this is working for me?
Yeah.
And with it working for me, I can be patient or not.
Right.
I can love you from a distance or not, because I have enough self-love to love you.
Right.
That's a lack of conversation.
I want to add to that because I like what you said about self-love and giving that in tandem independently. Because as a culture, it's hard to influence a culture when you're just one person.
Right.
So when you have that collective with, like you said, like-minded people, we're all sharpening each other. It's easier for us to influence the culture because now you love yourself enough. I love myself enough. You love yourself enough. So we all have we all wearing the same shoes. So now, what steps can we take to actively influence the culture as a whole rather than working solely on individuals? Because working on individuals, like we said, it's going to take too much time. It's going to take patience. It's going to take true self-love. But if we do it as a collective, I feel like we can expedite creating new boundaries and creating a new version of what true love looks like visually for our culture. So I like that.
I think you shouldn't require anything of anybody that you cannot give, like if you cannot give to yourself. So
Yeah.
for instance, there's a way I respect myself.
Right.
So anybody come and disrespect me in a way that I don't respect myself, no. You know what I mean? There's a way I love myself. So when we met, I showed him this is how I love myself.
Mhm.
So if you
Right.
if you want to be with me,
Look,
This
you want to
is-
send the assignment.
Okay.
this is gonna happen. You know what I mean? And I'll learn how you love yourself.
Heard.
I think we also need to learn how to utilize the word no.
Yes,
Mm.
yes, that's important.
Because I know that when I started my journey, I was saying yes to everything. But yes to everything. They said that if you drink from every cup, that's how you get poisoned.
Mm.
You got to know how to say no.
That's a boundary. That's a boundary right there. No in itself is a boundary.
I love it.
Ready? Another word. Accountability.
Mm.
Yeah. Man. Tit say.
Right. It's a high
Let's-
lack of that.
Let's specifically talk about our own accountability with our gifts. Where are we strong and where are we lacking?
It's a mental game. Definitely a mental game. Like, as a creative, you're gonna have your ups and downs. You're gonna be pushed to quit. You're gonna be pushed to even do better. But as long as you can take accountability for what you're not doing, then that's when you can be like, okay, let me work strongly in this area. Or if this is something I cannot do on my own that I'm lacking, I can come to you in love. Because I know that you know what you're doing in that area, and there's maybe something in that area that you're lacking that I can provide for you. So I think if people can take accountability for what they cannot do on their own, then that's when you can kind of pull more people into what you have going on, and then also add to whatever they have going on.
That kind of reciprocates that ego we talked about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of just
Yeah, you really have to be mindful of your ego and how it plays a part in your reality, because sometimes we don't even know we're speaking from an ego-based mindset.
This whole conversation to me is like an echoing back and forth of the individual against the community.
Yeah.
What can I do individually? What have I been told that I need to do by myself to affect the community? How can I get with community to not just lift them up, but lift me up?
Right.
Do we feel like community is something that is lacking in creative culture? Is it not there, or are we not building it?
It's not being built. It's still there. I mean, shit. We got more people on Earth than ever before. I think we just have to find a way to, like we said, create boundaries, create a space where those things matter to our people, because entertainment and things of that nature are what matter most in a time like now, if we want to be honest. So, outside of that, how do we make these other things cool, or the mainframe, so that we can get to this positive place that we want to get to?
I want to go back to that word accountability you use. And for me, I think that I focus a little more on the individual than the community, because in order for us to, the community is made of many different individuals. So I feel like a lot of people will hide behind the community, but there's so much self-work you have to do in order to be able to contribute to any community. And when you talked about accountability, something that I'm only going to talk about me, personal, right? Because I'm not a very big fan of generalizing, but I think that discipline is something that needs to be re-implemented. That is not something that's sexy. It's not cool. You know what I mean? Like, people are not working at their discipline, working on being consistent, working on, you know what I mean? Like, that shit is null and void. It's all about what's cool, what's trendy. We're not talking about discipline anymore. In addition to discipline, even the word, something that I've been struggling with is the word creativity. So the way creativity has been popularized, it's usually in a medium, whether it's songwriting, music, reading, or even creating fashions and stuff like that. And these are just examples. But I think creativity in itself has been put into a box. And it's so much bigger than creating a medium. The fact that you put this together today, that's a form of creativity. But we don't even talk about that. That's not necessarily sexy. That's not something that we, you know what I mean? Like, strive for. It's like, how can I create this tangible thing? And this is what's going to show my creativity. In fact, my creativity is really utilizing how I use my mind.
That has been
I like how you put that.
dwelling on me lately, right? So, a little bit about me. I started dancing when I was a young one, stopped dancing in college, right? Had a conversation a few months ago, and we were sitting around some creators, right? And everyone was asking, what's your artistry? What's your artistry? What's your artistry? And I'm like, oh, I'm not an artist. And for me to put that label down, like, I really had to sit with it for a few weeks, and I've been sitting with it because I don't necessarily think that's true. My true talent is being able to observe people, to be able to see people, and to help them create a new reality. That is creativity for me. That is me helping you reframe your mindset is a gift. But the fact that I feel like I can't call it artistry is something I'm battling with, because it doesn't fall into something I can produce.
Art is just mastery of your craft. That's the best way to put it. Art is mastery of your craft. That's why they say the best basketball players are artists at their sport, because they are masters at their craft. They make it look beautiful. When you can take something that's intangible, when you can take something inside of your mind and put it out there into the ether, into the space, and make people believe in that same thing, that's art.
Life imitates art, and art imitates life.
There you have it.
So in order to even be creative, you have to be involved in life.
So when producing these, as you talked about the intangibles, how do we protect our energy when others don't see our value?
I want to go back to what you said about if we're not on the same page, you gotta go. Because if we're not on the same page, your energy already ain't meshing with mine. So which means if I decide to keep you around, you're either draining me of my energy, I'm using too much of my energy trying to get you where I'm at. You know, it's a lot of energy exchange. I think of energy so wide. Like, even smoking a blunt with somebody is sharing energy. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Even
Kodak say you can't share no black and mild
with me, you can. And it's a reason why you can't share a black. If I'm allowing you in my space like that, I'm allowing you into my energy. People have all different types of energy fields. I know people who are like, I knew you was coming from down the street because your energy field was so big, or like, you know what I'm saying?
Happy for some reason.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So protecting your energy is
essential.
essential. It's a
Mr. Moran.
it's creative in itself because you have to be creative in order to protect your energy. You gotta do all types of things, whether it be meditate, use crystals, keep people the fuck away from you. Yeah, you know,
stretch.
you know what I'm saying? Like really,
Breathe.
yeah.
Take some time.
Breathe.
It don't gotta be nothing extra, and everybody thinks like everybody thinks like spirituality is like you gotta be extra, you gotta be this, she play with that. Like just relax. It comes to you naturally. If you just relax and breathe, bitch, stretch. So you might tap in, you know what I'm saying?
I have
Like
a
it's that
question.
simple.
What is the one thing that everyone does, that the ultimate one thing that everyone does, either on a daily basis or every now and then, that you know protects your energy for sure before you even step out of the house? Whether it be you drink water, you meditate, you listen to music, you...
Personally, I set my intentions. Set my intentions not for what the world wants, but who I want to go out into the world and be.
Okay.
I would, this one's a little unconventional, but reading is a huge thing for me. Like I'll literally wake up just to get up. I'll play like an audiobook so I can get up. But that's important for me because I understand, like, I feel like I'm in my apprenticeship phase where I'm learning a lot about myself, about who I am. And it's important to have mentors, and you can't sometimes always have physical mentors.
Yeah.
So an author of a book, that person is my mentor for that time period that I'm reading my book. They're literally across from me telling me their stories so that I can learn things. And that usually helps me a lot with just being intentional and understanding what path I'm on, because when I just talked about creativity, especially you talking about how I went to SCAD. I graduated from SCAD for accessory design. So I was making handbags and shoes, and my craft was carving into leather. But as I've continued to grow, I stopped being obsessed with the egg itself because I had to remind myself I'm the goose. And in fact, in that, the only reason why that came to be is because I was struggling. That's what pushed me to use my minds. I have a weird obsession with tattoos on skin. That's where that shit came from. So it's like, how can I continue to develop my mind? But now I feel like the people that I roll with don't respect me as an artist anymore because I'm not carving into leather. I'm not making the bags. I'm not making the shoes. So reading these books definitely helped me expand my mind because, like I said, creativity has been put into a box.
Tapping on books. What book are you reading currently?
Mastery, actually.
I just finished Mastery.
Did you?
Good
It's
one.
a really good book.
Good one, and the Laws of Human Nature is it's a backdoor.
I'm working on that one now.
That's a great one.
That just popped on my feed.
Backdoor Mastery with Human Laws of Human Nature. And then I just started this book called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
I read that in college. That's really good.
Yeah.
It's a really good
And
book.
it's really teaching me right now how to reassess my values, what I place values in, and what I choose to give a fuck about. Everyone has a choice, is what it's saying. So you can choose to give a fuck about this. You can choose to allow people in your energy. But when you do that, you are solely responsible for whatever happens after that. Not anybody else. Whether it be, I chose to speak to you, you disrespected me, but I have to take accountability for that because I chose to speak to you. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I like the fact that you read books. I like people that read because it lets me know that you're willing to expand your mind outside of what is already in front of you. We can learn from each other all day long just from seeing and touching and feeling and tasting. But when you are like you said, taking someone else's experience and trying to dissect that and learn what you can from it, you add more value to your life because now you're seeing it from a totally different perspective.
Yeah, I just want to side note off when you say choosing things. Like you do choose your reality and what you choose to have in your immediate realm.
Yeah.
So it's it hurts way more when a friend crosses you out opposed to a family member because bloodline is forced at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? But you chose that friend. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that degree just strikes way different.
That's what's hitting for me. Are we really ready to have the conversation about choice? Like not just the power of
Next
it,
word, choice.
but the accountability. Because then you have to say that I chose that, and now this is my responsibility.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a full circle.
Yes.
Every word that we use tonight reflects each other. You have to you can't use one without the other. You have to encompass it all because it essentially they all mean the same thing. Love, accountability, choice, boundaries, creativity, all of that lives in the same realm. So you can't pick apart what you want to choose to focus on. You know what I'm saying? You got to focus on it all because you're getting it all.
I think what they're missing is choice. Back then, there was never a choice. Kids don't even know they have their own rights. Like this, kids don't know they have rights, and that's what's crazy. Like these are things we weren't taught. You have to be able to teach them this, tell them this. Hey, kids have rights, adults have rights, everybody has fucking rights. Choice was not in our previous lifetime, and now we're here to push that shit through. This is why you have all these new kids rebelling and all this choice. We figured that shit out. We got a choice, and we choosing to do right or wrong. You feel me? And we gotta push him in the right direction. Like, yeah, you got a choice now, nigga. But what you finna do with it? You finna go shoot him, or you finna put a gun there? Like, what you finna do? You finna go to jail? Like, you know, it's a choice. Like, yeah, you got a choice, but it's power to your choice. Be able to like knowledge. That's what the books we always saying earlier. That's a choice. Get them that experience, so they can choose for themselves.
And a great book that helped me out with like choice is like the 4 Agreements, because using like tongue to speak is an agreement. Like certain words, like you have your first freedom of speech, First Amendment, whatever. You have your freedom of speech, but it's like there are consequences to what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying, that's an agreement.
Facts. That's facts.
That was just a little
4 agreements.
I think even us, like, and that's even something I had to work to debunk, to stop saying that I was never taught. It wasn't their responsibility. But now that I know, it's my responsibility to teach myself.
I like that.
You know what I mean?
I
Like,
that.
you can't even teach me something that you didn't know. So how is it your responsibility? Teachers have bad credits. So why am I upset? That's
No, you're right. Hey, I
you ain't know how to do it.
And I just want to
I
open the
know.
floor to like everybody in the room with this conversation. Like, if there's something that you feel like you want to jump in on, please feel free. I am struggling right now because we're talking about choice, and I know what we came here to talk about. However,
You taking it?
However.
I was waiting for that.
Hey, how you doing?
welcome, brother, welcome.
Can we
Choice
go
and
through
how-
the name one more time?
Yeah, let's do that.
Are you gonna start?
Yeah, I'm Paris. Buddy Paris.
Hi, Paris.
It's like introductory just names. I don't know. I didn't
Oh
know.
my God, that's a great side.
Y'all been trying to figure out how y'all knew each other this whole time.
I feel it. That name just came. Okay, we're gonna talk like
And what was your name one more time?
KP.
Paris. KP.
I'm Toby.
Charles.
Allie.
Nostalgia.
Frosty.
I'm Miss Milan. Anybody else in the room want to introduce themselves? Cough, cough. Yeah, proprietors. Choice. Can we talk about how women just lost ours?
Yo, that's crazy.
Tell you how mad I was
This shit is
morning.
breaking my heart.
I'm
I
still
was
I
so
am
mad this morning.
devastated.
been decided. Yo.
I don't even know
So-
where to start, what
No.
to say, but
So the premise of this is basically no abortions, no one more time,
Plan Bs.
no Plan Bs.
No.
They upped the gun laws
Yeah.
for some odd reasons. I read something today on Twitter. It was like, so if a woman gets
My gun. The gun is the only
the-
party that's protected.
yes,
I'm
yes,
sorry. Repeat
yes,
that.
that
If a man has a woman at gunpoint, he rapes this woman and impregnates her, the only party that's protected is
Is the
the
gun.
firearm. I was like, shit.
that was deep. I had to read that a couple times because when you really look at it that way, that's all it is. That's all it is. That's all it is. You
Which
gave
is
more
why-
power to the gun when there's a living human being.
Communism. I mean, not communism, but consumerism and capitalism.
Yeah.
That's all that really matters. And we in a place right now where we got to break away from money is a great thing, but money is a tool. Money is something that can get you from one place to another, but everybody has a love of money. And when you love something, that's idolizing it. And when you idolize the shit, you don't see it. You see it as a deity instead of seeing it as something that.
So I'm gonna
Tool,
polarize
exactly.
real quick. I'm gonna polarize. How can I say this? I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna figure out how to really say it, and I'm gonna come back. Go ahead.
I disagree with the point that everybody has that love of money, but people do have a love of access and power.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes people just like money. Yes, they do, because you can just throw money at situations, and particularly in a capitalist consumerist society, you can throw money at, and by design, it's set up so that you should be able to, if you have $1 billion, throw money at anything, and at least for you, that problem will be solved regardless of how many other people get shitted on.
That's where
I'm
the
glad you said that.
idolization comes into play.
I'm glad you said that. That's gonna allow me to polarize this conversation. Okay, so that I heard something last night at the event. Someone said, "Queens make kings." So it's like, if you're telling me, you're telling me that I cannot have an abortion if I choose to. You're stopping the black people from procreating rightfully, right? So someone said, well, what if they're trying to stop black people from expanding, creating more blacks? But it's like, I really thought about it, and you can't, because no matter who you're with, whether you get impregnated by a white man,
It's still gonna happen.
it's
You're
still
gonna
happen.
have a piece of art.
So them stopping women from having choices with their body is essentially stopping people from procreating, and like you said, it's allowing, I feel like, white people to make more money because now they have control over what
Black community, they're gonna use them as a tool.
as a tool.
See, but
Understood.
was it about the black community?
I-
Or like, are we missing the fact that it might be about the white community and the fact that they're getting lost in that one drop? And so now when we have to think about these 16-year-old white girls out here that are getting rid of their babies, and we think about the different race dynamics in this country, as we think about voting rights and all these things in this country, we need more white people. Unfortunately, it's also going to kill off black people because usually black women are the people dying from having giving birth.
Yeah,
Talk about it.
I would
Talk
agree
about it.
that the winner in this, maybe that's not what she was saying, but to some degree, the winner in at least that legislation decision or whatever is whiteness.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily white people, but whiteness.
Caucasity.
But that's
Caucasity.
yeah.
And we,
The thing I will say is that it's important not to lose the bigger picture of how does something like that come to pass in this country, and what else is down the pipeline.
It's the ignorance.
Because
What was the
this-
motivation?
if we were able
This
to debunk
play-
this so quick, what else is able to be, like you said, the pipeline? Like we already, it was a week, and all of a sudden we got all these new laws. So what can happen in this next week? What, you gonna tell me?
And what are people going to do about it is the thing.
Yeah.
They've created a sheep mentality
A fear.
to the people because of the love of money and the things that come with it. People are so encompassed, like you said, with entertainment, with money, with the things that you can buy with it. They creating the metaverse and all this shit for a reason. Like, this Roe versus Wade happened. We should expect to see something happen in Atlanta. We should expect to see something in every major city when some shit like this happens.
Yeah.
But when those things don't matter anymore is when they can make guns more important than women. More important than the option of having children or not when some shit happened to you. But they can take that shit away from you when they know that you're not gonna do shit because that's not what you're thinking about. You thinking about Mario and Omarion last night or some shit. That's the biggest thing just happened.
They distract you, but you
over
gotta,
Roe versus Wade. I guarantee in our community, that's the biggest shit that happened, and it needs to change. But how do we change?
So do you feel like we should go back to how we were dealing with situations when Ferguson hit?
no, it's the lack of ignorance. Like, a lot of people are ignorant. It's a lot.
That's why I say
of-
that. That's why when you were saying patience, I ain't really saying much because it's like, how much patience can we have with? I don't even want to say niggas, but with our people, bro. How much patience can we have? But we done talked about it, and what,
Yeah.
It
Sensuality.
starts
Yeah.
at the root, bro. It's like it's frequency genocide. We're
Exactly.
tuning into the music that's promoting the gun,
Exactly.
right?
Thank you.
Why we ain't tuning into the bro talking about the health and giving back? We tuning in the brother that's wrong with the Draco.
It's
start with the root.
ignorance
I
to-
feel
So
you.
where do you
I feel
feel-
you. But the ones that don't. Say you're not one of those.
However, it
Say
goes
you're not
back.
one of those.
It
Where-
goes back to choice.
where-
It's the ignorance.
It's
The choice of food.
because the world does like.
Like
Rob,
you
it'll
said,
gravitate
where's
to a
the
negative
community?
narrative way quicker than it will a positive.
Of course.
The attention spans will go to, oh, you want to see brother just got jumped on the timeline opposed to somebody that just graduated. You know what I'm saying?
But
Like,
I
that's-
won't
Yeah.
necessarily say
But
that
that-
I agree that it's negative. I agree that it's easy.
yeah,
It's easy for me. I know what that is. I know what a Glock is. I ain't gotta tell you what Roe versus Wade. You know, I have to learn about Roe versus Wade because nobody talked about that.
But there's, yeah, it's a reason for all that.
So
Like I said, it's
I'm gonna say something. He was talking about polarizing statements. All right, I'm gonna say something very uncomfortable. So I'm gonna preface it with this: I have never held a gun in my life. I've never fired a gun, not even remotely.
and that's okay. For you.
Now I'm gonna say this: because of the country that we live in, it makes me very uncomfortable, especially as a Christian. But I'm gonna say, I don't think there's enough gun violence. I don't think there is enough of the right kind of gun violence.
That's real.
Because we'll shoot somebody because
And I say
you
that
pissed
it
me off.
won't be me, and I'm not advocating for someone else to do it.
Right.
But shooting a nigga over some tennis shoes is absolutely ridiculous.
Ludicrous.
The person who set your grandparents up to lose their house, why did you not shoot them who put you into the situation where you feel like all I got is those fucking shoes?
Yeah.
I'll shoot a nigga over these shoes.
That's real.
That's
too
too
real.
real.
That's-
Too real that they don't.
That's it right there. Because
Oh my God.
Holy shit.
and that's what I mean about values. What we choose to value. The values in that was shoes. So because he valued the shoes so much, he was willing to kill for those shoes. Now, because I value my grandparents so much and I love them, and you put us in this situation, I am willing to do this shit.
As we uplift other black folks, as they become more successful and they find new ways to grow their wealth and their community, they will adopt the very same tactics because they have to, because that's what we have acknowledged is success.
There you go.
So
Thank you.
it is
That's just not okay.
the going back to what he was saying, the capitalism, the consumerism, and certain things that are European in nature, which I sum back to whiteness.
I have a question.
That's what you tap into. That's what you double tap. It's on your algorithm.
Yeah.
That's everything you talk about. That's the Dolce Gabbana. That's the
Versace.
fucking every Versace. All of those names. Those are people that don't look like you, don't give a fuck about you. That told you multiple times we couldn't even fuck with y'all. And we
No.
will say it in front of your face. I don't fuck with you.
And most
But you
of the
gonna go back and buy it in 2-3 weeks when you like fuck it. I'm gonna spend my money. I'm gonna look good, and they gonna take all of your ideas and
Yeah.
shit. They gonna put them in their magazines.
I still
and they
see
got
black
you
people
paid
shopping at
for
H&M.
and shit.
What was Kanye's
Wow.
comment or his lyric? They made us love their wealth and hate ourselves.
Yeah.
That's real. The reason
Yeah.
why a nigga would shoot another nigga over a pair of shoes is because that's where your self worth. You put
You
your
value
self worth in
yourself
those
in
shoes.
the
No, shoot, yeah.
You should just gave up the shoes.
The
We
shoes.
back at the conversation of the product.
And it's like
Worshiping the product.
What I don't understand is why can't we create our own Black Wall Street? We have
it's
enough-
like we
We're
We-
trying.
no,
We're
I get it.
trying.
No. That's where I'm going. That's where I'm going.
It's like, bro, yeah, we tried our own things, making our own things, but it's up to the people to champion it. But it's
Yeah.
like, bro, he's the first one to get to the fashion houses, bro. We just now
We gotta show them that we worth it now. Like back then, we was not ready. We was not ready for no Black Wall Street back then. Now we ready. We got more like-minded people now, yo. We got people like us that's like-minded, making billions of dollars right now.
I want to tap in
Yeah.
on what
But now
you
We
said.
can create. No, but we gotta
getting
show them
all
that
that
we
shit.
listen. It sounds crazy, but we gotta show them that we worthy. I know it sounds batshit crazy, but you gotta understand
But
these
at the
people
same
have been
time, we didn't
oppressed
design
for
the
years.
culture.
I'm
We
gonna
didn't design
disagree,
culture.
and I'm
Like
gonna disagree
different
because
type of
I feel like you said, we didn't do FUBU like that back in the day.
Yeah,
I
we
felt
used
like
to
had we kept no. What I'm saying is, had we kept rocking the black culture like we did back then, we wouldn't be in this situation where
That's what
we're
I'm saying.
relying on different whiteness.
So back to your point, you talked about people like us are making billions. That's true, but they got there by playing the game.
They did.
We don't want to play the damn game to get to the top. If we gotta have jobs, why are we selling ourselves to the ones who could pay us the most for our fucking skills? Why are we taking the base level? You know what I mean? Like, it's deeper than that. Why are we not infiltrating the fucking system?
Because like they didn't let us in the house, and now we're trying to build our own house to play by our own rules. But that's gonna take time.
So,
it's
like we need
Where you gonna get
chiefs
the rules from?
to infiltrate the system, and we need Indians to
to
drive the cause. You know what I'm
My
saying?
thing
There you go.
For
So
me-
somebody gotta infiltrate.
Somebody
For
got to
me,
put up information.
It goes back to work ethic. People don't want to work hard for shit.
They don't.
They don't. They want that shit to be given to them. They want that instant gratification. You know what I mean? People just want, how can I get
Do you
this? This
think-
person is at step 765. How can I get there with step 2?
Do you think because of our past, we're tired?
Yeah, no, it's just trauma. I feel like because the next, I'll be so skeptical when motherfuckers try to work with me on some music shit. Like, oh damn, you finna climb on my back, try to get to somebody else who's in my network. Like, and I'm asking self, like, damn, bro, like. He could just be a fine nigga that just want to do music type shit.
And do you
but I'm
own
so
those people?
I don't.
You know
It's
what
just
I
like,
mean?
but I do think like I'm
it's
not gonna count.
it's
It's like I do be thinking like, damn, like, cause niggas have hit me with that. They thinking I'm down here networking, trying to play shoots and ladders and get to the top. But it's like, no, I know what I'm adding to every equation I'm involved in creatively, bro.
Yeah.
But it's like at the same time, I've been through situations where I was genuinely making music with friends. A label came around, and now we're not friends no more. So I was like, what the fuck? Like, it just showed me like shit is business. I ain't friends. Like you were saying, we got a partner, but it's like all these fucking business infrastructures are here. It's putting everybody on some fucking gladiator type shit. Like, I'm gonna go to war with this nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The industries create that climate.
So you're even that. So you're making music with a person and they get picked up from a label.
They were already signed. I'm over here working a 9 to 5. They signed getting racks off stream, 7-figure streams.
But I'm saying, we gotta have faith in ourselves. If I work with you and you make it, I assisted you to make it. So you know what I mean? I have some of the fundamentals to continue doing what I'm doing. But I just feel like we want to go from here to here.
So quick.
No steps.
Yeah.
No fucking steps.
Yeah.
No grinding. No years of struggle. No this. We want it tomorrow. And how can I do that? Oh, this person is telling me that if I use this little thing right here, I can do it tomorrow. I'm hopping on that. Oh, this person said this shit over there. I'm hopping on that. We don't want to actually take steps.
Why do you think that is?
Is it
Where
is it a lack of knowing the steps though?
Mm.
Like we talk about, you know,
We got
getting
a
to
lot
that.
of trailblazers.
No, we're not.
But how many of those trailblazers sitting down with these folks and having conversation to say these are the steps?
And that's what I
No.
mean with that with that.
Nowhere.
The OGs.
I swear to
but-
God.
Yeah,
So-
so said it. There you go. People not listening to the
So-
OGs.
Ain't no
Like
OGs.
I
Ain't
said,
no OGs.
like I
Say
said,
it.
But the
Say that
OGs,
shit again.
but the OGs, you got some OGs that's like Yoda, and then you got some OGs that's
That's
like
like Dark-
goddamn Dark City.
Okay.
Yeah,
Some OGs
yeah.
ain't even
Right.
real OGs. They
Sometimes
don't
they be
fuck
telling
shit
you
too.
shit that's not gonna get you where you need to be.
You know what I'm
It's
saying?
hard to find them.
You know?
OGs know who to talk to, whether they're good or bad. They know who to drop. It's the energy, bro. They know. I can say that from personal experience. Okay.
What were you gonna say?
The OGs know.
So, I've gone into handyman work, and there's a lot of things I don't know, and I just YouTube. And so, 30 years ago, I could not do what I'm doing because I just wouldn't have had there just wouldn't have been, I don't even know how old YouTube is.
Like,
Do you know what I mean?
the free
YouTube
access to
University, it
information.
Right.
exists.
Right.
So a lot of shit where I'm like, yeah, I can do that. Spent 6 hours on YouTube, like, oh, this shit is hard. Like,
I can do that.
whatever. And then, make it work at a discount. Like, look, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm gonna do the best I can. This is, whatever. Okay. Where I'm going with this is, I started asking specifically, this is basic, old black men in Home Depot. If you go straight to Home Depot, find older black men, and say, hey, I'm trying to do this, speak to 3, one of them will know and will be happy to walk you through it. The OGs are there if they would love to give the knowledge, and it might be just because of my complexion that they respond to me, or maybe it's because I only go up to black men, old black men, because I'm like, I know he knows. I know he knows. But you ask, and for free.
Yeah.
Don't even ask my name. I don't know his, but I know something new.
I think that drives us back to accountability, and I want to add a new word, laziness, because now that we have such free access to this information, why are we not?
There's no drive to.
And that's what I was trying to say. We are in a microwave society. Ooh.
Microwave.
You pop that shit in the microwave, 30 seconds, 2 minutes, it's done. Nobody's slaving. I mean, some people are, but you know what I mean? Like, it's more convenient to pop it in the microwave. So I feel like that's a whole mentality.
Yeah.
How people go out there grind, it's a microwave mentality. I feel like we need to like take our time and you do the research. I think that if they said when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. That's real shit.
Yeah.
That's real shit. But if you're not ready to learn, I mean, I've met people who make a lot of money, and when I sit down and talk to them, they're willing to give me free game.
Mm-hmm.
They are. And they're surprised that I'm interested. Most people aren't asking them the right questions. It's like, how can I get those shoes that you're wearing? Mm-hmm. How can I get the car that you're wearing? Mm-hmm. But they don't even ask the right questions to get the answers that they're looking for.
Let's chime in there. And when we talk about mentorship, are we ready to have the conversation about the uncomfortable mentors?
Yeah.
You know, the people who came in your life and it was a little abrasive, that authority figure. What did they teach you? Mine in particular, from undergrad, always said, and when I tell you that was a Susie ass woman, boy, I tell you, better questions lead to better answers.
True.
And our relationship, yes, Lord. But are we ready to look at the people in our lives who we didn't necessarily have a good relationship with? What did that teach us? Everything teaches us.
Yes.
Being able to open up and break down that hurt to break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Process that hurt and see what was it. Because even if it wasn't them intentionally trying to teach you something, they taught you something. Process the pain.
That's true.
Most of the teachers I hated ended up being the ones that I felt like were the best to me.
Yeah.
They tried to teach me the most, but they were hard on you because they wanted you to understand this in the moment. And some of them I went back and told them, like, I really appreciate the love that you gave me.
My bad,
Yeah,
because I was tripping. I was young. I didn't really
for
know.
sure.
Look, shout out to my mentor.
Yeah.
Real talk. I cried a lot in that office. I did. And he had this look on his face, an older black man. He had this look on his face, and he was looking at me like he was looking through me. This kindness and this care and compassion in his eyes that I just couldn't understand at the time. And I'm boo-hooing. Like the whole world is falling down. I'm trying to write my book. I don't have no food. My parents don't love me. And he just kept saying, I understand. Everything's going to be all right. Those adages, everything's going to be all right. The things that we call cliches, I've started to look at them as ancient knowledge. Mm-hmm. Because there's a reason we keep hearing that shit.
And they're
there's
so simple.
It's still here.
They're so simple. Everything's temporary. It gets better. Keep going.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like when you hear that shit from people, you be like, shut your ass up. I don't want to hear that shit from you. I'm mad as fuck right now. But when you be like, let me just keep going. Let me just calm down. Let me just, you know what I'm saying?
Think about the words, everything is going to be all right.
Yeah.
Everything is going to be all right,
Mhm.
meaning all supposed to happen to you in the way that it happens so that you can get to the place that you're supposed to be. Like we continue to say, everybody's worried about the destination but not the journey.
Journey.
And you have to go.
Enjoy
And the journey's the fun part. After you
And
get
that's
there,
all anybody's gonna ask you when you get to the destination.
How did
What
you,
was your
what-
story?
Yeah, how did you get
How
here?
did you
How
encourage
did you get
yourself?
here?
How did you deal with insecurities? Nobody gives a fuck. I mean, they're happy that you made it, but they're not about to ask you, oh, what type of bed sheets did you sleep on last night?
You know?
They want to know how you got there.
And we praise the destination a lot, not realizing, a lot of us haven't realized when you get to the destination, there's still more journey.
Facts. Facts.
I did that. I love to be transparent. That's my shit. I did that.
Facts.
I thought after, you write the book, you go on tour, you talk to the people, you sell the book.
We're done.
Yeah, better.
There's still more.
Yeah,
There's more.
yeah,
There's
that's what
more.
they ask.
Like, oh, you should also be a person. Did you eat? Like,
Right.
there's
Facts,
still
right.
things like, why are you not eating? What are you telling yourself? Now we have to get into the deep shit of healing the mind. Like, oh man, that part of it wasn't the whole. That the destination.
Fuck the disease.
Fuck the destination.
The journey was hell.
Going back to the mentor thing, because I feel like that plays a big part in who your mentor is. All of my mentors that I've had in my life pertaining to my business, my craft, whatever, they've always made me harder, tougher, tough skin, pulling me out of the dark into the light. Like, I'm gonna push you to be better, but it's gonna hurt because I need your mind to know what this pain feels like. I need your mind to know, yeah, to how is your mind going to get over what I'm pushing you into? So that way when I leave, you know how to walk in that. So all of my mentors, like you said, what am I telling myself? What am I placing my values in? When I think about this, that mentor comes on and is like, hey, this is what you need to really be thinking about. This is how you should. Oh, well,
You know, when you made that comment about your mentor and what you went through,
Mhm.
I could really relate to that because for me, like the word chastisement and love,
Yeah.
we're not in the same.
Yeah.
We're not in the same category. But I literally, like, I'm gonna say this, y'all. I went to this expensive ass
I'll move
art
over
school,
there.
and
Open up the circle. Let's rearrange the room.
so I was actually referring to the comment when you were talking about mentors, and I think that the word chastisement and love is something that I now put together. They were separate entities before, and literally my education at SCARE taught me that. 17 years old, doing art, sitting in a room full of students and people talking shit about your work. Like, I wanted to fight people after class, but I realized that that's what I was paying for. You're pushing me to be better. If you tell me that this sucks, and I go back and I think about it, I'm like, you know what? Maybe that did kind of suck. Maybe I could have done this, done that. That's what I'm paying for. So I started to put more value on people, or people who told me the truth or chastised me, made me feel uncomfortable. Because sometimes the shit that feel good ain't good for you.
There has to be a respect for the lesson. I think we're so concerned with the destination and we're so concerned with success that we don't have respect for the lesson. We say we failed, we say we didn't do it, we might even give up, but there has to be a respect for the say, hey, I learned that lesson, and look at me. I bounced back, I'm gonna do
Your
it.
teacher will always give
I
you a
learned
retest.
more, exactly, because there's more to learn. I'm gonna do better on the test than I did on the quiz.
For real.
So it definitely goes back to love, man. We gotta figure out, we gotta learn what that shit is in order to give it and to also receive it. Because it's not just about, I'm gonna give you love. I have to be able to receive. I gotta know that my shit stinks. I gotta know that I need to grow. And in order for you to help me grow, you have to make me uncomfortable. You have to challenge me instead of running away from that shit.
As you said, it starts with self-love. You have to know yourself and be open. You have to let yourself be open to these criticisms and other things, because if you're not willing to accept your flaws or know that, okay, I can't do everything. I'm not the best at all of this shit. And I can get better. The only way that I can get better is if somebody can tell me that. And that's with mentors and everything. You got to be open to the older people speaking to you and different things like that. But that starts with self-love. Do I love myself enough that I don't care what the next person may think about me sitting over here talking to this older man? about what's going on in the world or what I should be doing better with myself. Letting all of those things go, and that's freedom. That's true freedom.
It goes back to that accountability.
Somebody asked me a long time ago, we were talking about where the OGs were.
Yeah.
I said at the park on Saturday morning playing chess.
Thanks.
I was thinking about that earlier. Where's the
I
venue?
literally met one at a barbershop. I was walking over there off a little 5 points randomly. It was a random day, walking down a little 5 points, and I stopped at the barbershop. And I was like, "You play this?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "You want me to teach you?" I was like, "Yeah." And now I know how to play chess. It's so weird.
So do you think?
It was so
Do
weird.
you think your mentor can also be younger than you?
Yes.
It can show up in many
Define wisdom.
forms.
Yes.
It can show up in any form. It doesn't matter. It's just you willing to learn. Like, you being willing to ask the questions, like we talked about before. You just gotta be willing.
But
Choice.
you
I
also
think-
got to know the difference between an OG and an old head. Because an
Yeah.
old head will just talk in circles,
But
criticize
I
everything you got going on. Like an OG
Start
will see
bringing-
what you're trying to do, and like he'll suggest things. He's not gonna be like, do this, do that. Like he'll just make healthy suggestions.
I think
He or she.
I think some of our best mentors are children,
True.
and I say
Because
that
it's so
because
pure.
yes, they don't know what we know in terms of life or adulting and being older and per se black or whatever culture
They
you're in.
don't care.
They don't care about
Right.
that. So,
They speak to our inner child.
Facts.
yeah,
That
yeah.
part of you
And
that
I
needs
think
to
that's
be
why
healed.
parents have a difficult time, like when they're raising their kids, because they can't accept the
Absolutely.
fact that their child is not them.
Yeah.
You cannot create a future for a child. That is a child. That's a whole nother life. When they grow up, they're a whole nother person. You
Mhm.
cannot control that person's life up to the point where it's like you have every single step planned out because it's
Yeah.
not going to go as planned. And I think that's where parents won't accept their inner child, because when their children try and tell them like, hey, this, that, and the third happened, they don't want to accept that because they're not willing to open up to that inner child. And that's where that discorrelation and that love come in, because patience, baby. Okay?
He
So-
will try you to the teeth.
So, to kind of round out and wrap up, we're having a conversation now about actually healing community. We've talked about a lot, and we're always going to end here. What are we going to do? How do we fix? Where do we start?
Love. That's it.
And I do feel like the energy now really has moved to like a healing place. How do we help our brothers and sisters who just not fucking getting it?
What if the first thing that comes to mind is in our artistry, and that's even when I speak to myself, right? A little bit about me might be a slight plug. I am
Plug away, please. This is recorded. This is going to be in places. Please plug away. Let these people know who you are. 'Cause we love you. Okay.
No, I'm pursuing business and personal development coaching, right? And I truly, for me, it's awareness coaching, because I want to be able to sit with you and allow you to show up as authentically as you can. I want to like create a space where you can practice being completely yourself. And that's my artistry, because I can see you in a different light in the way that you can. I have the background, I have the skill, I have the degrees to be able to look back and be like, okay, I know what this looks like. So let me help you see it, so we can create a vision for you together.
We need more of that, man. That's beautiful.
And that's my artistry. So that's what I'm saying.
That's beautiful.
We talked about value in artistry and things that people can't see. Those intangibles are some of the most important things in what we're giving, the love that we're giving, how we show up, and the love that we have to learn how to receive back. That was so deep.
Yeah.
So we need to make a love NFT and then put value in it.
No,
Hey,
let's
that
do
is-
it.
that
Every
is
nigga
so
has the love
vibrations,
NFT. We
for
know
real.
your frequencies. That's how we identify.
Ah,
So you guys keep talking about love. So when I thought about it earlier when she said something, that once upon a time, people talking about like agape love and stuff. I'm gonna be honest with you. You guys might have received that message or whatever. I didn't, and to this day, I'm like, I still don't know what the fuck y'all talking about. But like, I ain't get it. It's fine. I'm not gonna get everything. But what I did receive was somebody painted a picture So when you say you love something, do you love it? You love fish. Do you love fish like you grow and feed and nurture fish, or you consume that fish? Do you love to consume,
Right.
So are you saying?
or do you love to feed? And it's the same thing. Like you can love LeBron. Are you loving his success, his growth, his ups, his downs, that he gets to be successful and make moves in his community, and you like, or do you just like that you bet on him and make money? Do you love that he is like, ha? Or
So you're saying there's levels to love.
right, like
Are you loving or are you fanboying?
Are you
Right.
nurturing or are you here to nurture or are you here to consume?
Right.
Feed
Are
off
you here to
of.
give or you here to take?
Right.
right.
And I think that goes back to protecting your energy, because you can get around people who will nurture your energy or consume it.
Right. Do you? Hey, I'll go there. Do you love black women because of what they have historically done for you, and you know what you can get them to do for you in the future?
That's it.
Or do you love black women because you can look into a black woman and see the whole history of the earth, and you know that feeding into and supporting that black woman means that you are honoring a history and seeing the future of the earth go in the direction it should. I know I just did a lot right there. I'm sorry.
No, that was it.
It's
That
a
was
rope
deep.
for
That was
black
deep.
women.
Because
That's why it feels like pandering.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
You can't pander when it's your people, brother.
Hey,
You are.
Tell it.
We are
Just to
pander.
answer your question, what am I gonna do about it? I'm gonna be the example. Period.
There you go.
People always look at me and say you're supposed to be a model, and I used to think that meant in terms of pictures, but I think it's so much bigger than that. That's what I'm gonna be
It's the
doing.
soul, man. They don't understand. Black women got power, man. There wouldn't be nothing on this earth, I promise you, without a black woman. I promise. Any type of soul, even down to jazz, we created the soul in the men. If you want to, the women, everybody, like we created the soul to give to the man to be able to create. And they got to be able to see the aspect of that. Most people just use and abuse it. And then you have a race of women who are not willing to give themselves to anyone else because it's just like, damn, the next one just gonna continue to fuck up. It's a generational thing. You gotta be able to tame that shit off and understand that there wouldn't be shit without a strong black woman. And you have to be able to not only nurture that and understand that she can hold her own ground, but you gotta understand that sometimes she might want you to step in there. You feel me? There's a balance. And people have to understand there has to be a balance. And when people don't, that's where that use and abuse comes from.
I think that's something that we really didn't tap in on is balance and creating that balance.
So in the process of doing that, I want everybody to have your close ups, and also we need names. We should do that again. And if anybody has things that they have going on that they want to plug and talk about, you should do that too.
Yes, we need everyone's Instagram here and how we all connect. We gotta get it.
This is gonna happen again. This is powerful, though.
Oh, this is
This
happening
is a
again?
hit for
What was
me.
that?
This gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yes, this is gonna happen again. This is powerful because you never know. We don't know what we're doing when we leave here. We can take this information to be able to touch the next person.
Yeah.
We don't know. But right here, right now, this energy is about to be passed on. So this is good energy. I dig it. This gonna happen again.